As you know by now, the Judicial Service Commission has confirmed that it has recommended Justice Mandisa Maya as the country's next Chief Justice. If appointed by President Cyril Ramaphosa, she will be the country's first female Chief Justice.
After 4 days of grueling interviews, hard questions posed to 4 of the country's top jurists, and 8 hours of deliberations, the Judicial Service Commission has decided that the best candidate to lead the judiciary is Supreme Court of Appeal President Mandisa Maya.
What made our task difficult was exactly that the candidates were all of a high quality, and the uniqueness of the process, which was also unprecedented insofar as the President, for the first time ever, nominated more than one candidate to be interviewed by the Judicial Service Commission. The Constitution is very clear that the Judicial Service Commission is making a recommendation. What is notable is that we are not even the only body that he consults. The Constitution says after consultation with the JSC and the leaders of political parties represented in the National Assembly. So he's clearly not bound by either what we recommend or what those leaders of political parties recommend.
The Commission will now present a report to the President before he consults with the National Assembly and makes an appointment.
Right, let's get more reaction on this, on the recommendation, and bring in Zikhona Ndlebe, Research and Advocacy Officer from Judges Matter. Zikhona, great to have you on the program. Welcome.
Hi, good morning.
So, what made the JSC's task difficult was that the fact that all these candidates were of a high quality. You happy with Justice Maya as their pick?
Well, as you have pointed out, all 4 candidates are of a high quality. They are high-ranking judges. Justice Mandisa is in the Constitutional Court. Justice Mandisa Maya is the President of the Supreme Court of Appeal. Judge Dunstan Lulambo is the Judge President of the busiest court in South Africa, Gauteng Division of the High Court. And Judge Zondo is the Acting Chief Justice and the Deputy Chief Justice currently. So all of them are very good jurists, they're very good judges, and they have the necessary qualities to become the next Chief Justice. Yeah. So I'm sure it was a very difficult task for the JSC, as we saw during the past week. Are we happy as Judges Matter? I don't think that is an important question, but what is important is, will the recommended candidate be able to do the work of a Chief Justice? And we definitely think that she will be able to do the work if the President makes the final appointment of her as the next Chief Justice. And then obviously she's the first woman Chief Justice. That makes it groundbreaking.
Let's pick up on your last point, if the President makes that decision. So the JSC is not the only body that the President consults. I understand the President also consults with leaders of political parties represented in the National Assembly. So President Ramaphosa is the appointing authority, but what's the possible consequences of not going with the JSC's recommendations or not going with the political party leaders? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, let's just look at the past. Has the President not ever decided to appoint a person who has been recommended by the JSC as the Chief Justice?
But there's only been one.
I've seen that happen.
But there's only been one candidate before, isn't it?
Yes, there's only been one candidate before. You're absolutely correct. But when looking at the past, the chances are that the President might actually appoint Justice Maya as the next Chief Justice. If the President does not appoint her as the next Chief Justice, he'll have to give reasons, perhaps, why he has decided not to do so. And at the end of the day, as we have pointed out, the President has the last say. So the President might appoint Justice Maya as the next Chief Justice. The President might decide not to appoint President Maya as the next Chief Justice, and perhaps appoint one of the other three candidates that were interviewed by the JSC. It's absolutely up to the President.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, Zikhona. A Constitutional Court judge holds office for a non-renewable term of 12 years or until he or she attains the age of 70, whichever occurs first, except where I think an Act of Parliament extends the term of office of a Constitutional Court judge. Justice Maya, coming from the SCA, is there an expectation that she will bring this fresh perspective to the office of the Chief Justice?
Well, there is definitely that expectation. That expectation will definitely come from her interview. When her interview started, she was given 30 minutes to state what her vision for the judiciary is. And before stating her vision, she mentioned the fact that when she sat before the JSC in 2017 for the position that she currently holds, she made promises basically to the JSC to revamp the Supreme Court of Appeal, to ensure that there is transformation, to ensure that there is collegiality, to ensure the proper and efficient running of the Supreme Court of Appeal. And she has actually lived up to those promises. So, as she said, the fact that some people will see her as an outsider of the Constitutional Court, that's a non-factor, because she will be coming from the outside of the Constitutional Court, yes, but she will be bringing a fresh perspective and a fresh way or a different way of doing things at the Constitutional Court and as a Chief Justice.
Right. A report will be written to President Cyril Ramaphosa. Advocate Dali Mpofu thinks it might be a couple of days. When can we expect the announcement from the President? Is there a specific time frame?
In terms of the Constitution, there is no specific time frame, but we are hoping that the President will make the final appointment as soon as possible. We must also take note that there are interviews that are coming up in April, the first week of April, and those are important interviews because they also include the interviews of two positions at the Constitutional Court. And the sooner the President makes the appointment, we will know that we've got a permanent Chief Justice who's going to be running those interviews. And so we're hoping that the President makes the final appointment as soon as possible.
Look, as we've been talking about it, this process was unique. For the first time, the President nominated more than one candidate to be interviewed by the Judicial Service Commission. Is this the way to go with future appointments?
We think, as Judges Matter, that it is definitely the way to go, because even before the President announced that he would open up the process, that is what we had been advocating for. Because as you've mentioned, that in the past, the President would pinpoint one person that they think should be the next Chief Justice, and that person would be interviewed by the JSC, and the President would make the final appointment without any hesitation. But with an open process, there is legitimacy to the person being appointed as the next Chief Justice. There are no questions because it was an open process. There were different contenders, and the President as we've seen, will have 4 candidates to choose from. So it cannot be said in future that the President has made an appointment for his own personal benefits, etc. But the process will be legitimized because a lot of candidates have been interviewed. The President will have been spoiled for choice as to who becomes the next Chief Justice. So in future, we are hoping that this will be the process that is followed when it comes to the appointment of a Chief Justice, to ensure that the process is legitimate. Not only one person will be pinpointed for the position, but there will be options.
Zikhona, thank you very much indeed for your time. Always interesting perspective. No doubt we will touch base with you to get further analysis on the way forward. Appreciate your time, though. All right, that was Zikhona Ndlebe from Judges Matter.